Should you buy the iPod Touch 6th generation in 2019? Let's find out. So I bought this device back when the iPhone 5 was my main phone. Tell me in the comments if you want me to do a video on that. But has it held up well even today? It still gets iOS 12, so maybe. Let's find out. The point of an iPod Touch is to have all the capability of an iPhone, except there's no cellular, as you can see here. It only has Wi-Fi and Bluetooth. Now you can see that the iPod Touch 6th generation has lightning ports, a headphone jack, come on. You can see it has a lightning port, a headphone jack, kind of surprising. It also has two volume buttons, up and down, and then it has the power button, obviously. And then see this black strip here? This is for the antenna and for the Wi-Fi antenna, since apparently they need one for iPods. I don't know why they do, but they do. Now, here's some of the cons of this device. Now, if you didn't notice on the video, there's no mute switch at all. There is literally nothing there. And there's no toggle for it, or at least there wasn't. That's what I meant to say. But there was no toggle for it, meaning that if you had any iPod that doesn't support at least iOS 11, there's no toggle for it. Now, on iPads, such as this one here, I have a mini iPad here, it is actually required to have the bell. As you can see here, that bell is required, and it cannot be taken off. Now, this is an older iPad, that's why the bell's over here. I don't have a new one, but if there was a new one, or if this was a new one, the bell would be right here. Whoops, the bell would be where this timer icon is. But on these devices, yeah, it's a requirement. Now, on this one, here's an actual pro, I at least find, is that on this one, there is a bell, and it is completely optional. You can see it's in the control center right here. You can see right there. It says silent mode, and I can add that in, and there's my bell. And this can actually be put wherever I want it to be. It doesn't have to be doesn't have to be stuck here like it does on newer iPads. Yeah. Now, if you didn't notice, on this iPad, there is no rotation lock, and that is because this device is the older one, and it has a switch on the bottom, just to kind of give a disclaimer. This iPad would not have the bell here otherwise. Now, obviously, another con is that the device just doesn't have any cellular, and that's kind of expected because it's an iPod, and Apple didn't make it with cellular. That wasn't the point of the device. You can see there's no cellular settings at all in here. And I might be able to find a picture of what a cellular thing looks like if you're just not an iOS user. But it basically just adds a hotspot and a cellular button in here if you don't know. Now, another con is that there is no battery percentage. You can see up here, you're probably like, oh, he probably just has it off. No, there literally is no battery percentage at all on this device. If you go into battery, it won't do anything. It'll just show you your stats of what the battery was used for. Okay, a correction to what I said earlier about the battery percentage. It is actually, there's a hair on my phone. It is actually possible to do, as you can see, but it is a pain to do it. So, if you guys want to see a video of that, then don't really know how I'm going to show that, but I'll try. So yeah, you can see how much it is dropping because it's getting the battery kind of calibrated up again. But yeah, so if you guys want to see that, then comment down below and I'll see what I can do. There's no percentage at all. There's also no low power mode. So turn on low power mode.
Sorry, but I can't change low power mode on your iPod.
See that? Normally on iPhones, it would work because low power mode exists for those devices. For the iPod Touch, it does not at all. Okay, so what I meant to say here didn't really come through. It didn't sound right. So, low power mode actually does exist on these devices, but Apple does not have that on by default. So what you can do is you can actually jailbreak the device. That is kind of a method of gaining more access than Apple wants you to. And then you can enable it from there. I don't know why Apple doesn't have that on by default, but they don't for some reason. So yeah, it won't crash or anything if you force enable it. It'll just work fine. So Apple, please fix this. Now, here is, I would say, another con with this device is no 3D touch. Now, many phones do not have 3D touch, and this is another device that just doesn't have that. You have to hold icons like this to actually, I don't have any notifications, but you have to hold icons like this to open them up. Where on phones with 3D touch, that doesn't really exist. Now, what I'm going to do is pop up a little notification up here, just a screen recording one, just to prove something. There it is. So on these devices, to clear out all your notifications, on a device with 3D touch, you can add more pressure to the X, and it will open, and it will show a clear all notifications button. That's existed for a while now. But on older devices, such as this iPod Touch, and even the iPhone XR, I think, has this too, you can just hold the X, and it will pop that up. In fact, you can see I just have, on my iPad, there's a bunch of news things here. You can do the same thing on this one too, and it'll exist there. So at least Apple's trying to do something about this. I'm going to clear this one too. Or miss. Now it's not going to let, okay, whatever. You can see Apple's trying to do things like make these devices have as good of support as possible, but they just, I don't feel that they really do it too well. Especially with notifications. On normal devices, you can 3D touch on them, and it will do that. You can't do that here. So yeah, that's kind of annoying. Now, another con with this device, I just have to enter my passcode, that's why I put it off screen. Another con with this device is that the battery doesn't last very long at all. This was at over 60% when I started this video. You can see now it is about 30%. And yeah, these batteries do not last long in here at all. And when you charge them all the way, it looks very full, and then it just drains really quickly. It's annoying. And along with it, only warns you once when your battery is low. And once you hit 20% battery, it's not going to warn you again. Chances are it'll die within 5 minutes. And that's what, I'm not kidding. So yeah, this iPod has a 1043 milliamp battery. Now, that might sound good, but it really isn't. We've already hit around, I don't know, maybe 2,000, 3,000, maybe 5,000, I don't know. But we've hit a high amount of milliamps on other devices. In fact, my battery pack has 10,000 milliamps in it. So yeah, that's kind of bad. But, so I need to charge this device. If I use this every day, I need to charge this device several times a day in order for me to actually get pretty much anything done. Because this was at full charge this morning, and it was low within an hour, and I had to plug it back in. And no, that is not this iPod battery aging. It is how it comes from the factory. If you replace the battery inside this device, it's just not gonna matter. There's nothing you can do really, because even if you get a battery replacement, this device is not eligible for that battery replacement program. In fact, it ended a little bit ago. But yeah, this device wouldn't even get a better battery. Like, they don't put good batteries in these things. And to add insult to injury, this iPod does not. This is the latest one, the iPod 6 from 2015. This is the latest iPod that they sell. They still sell these too, which is kind of interesting. They're $200, so it's quite a cheap Apple device if you do need to try something out. And I've been loading it with bad things, but trust me, there's a lot of good things about the iPod Touch. Now, obviously, here's a pro. Headphone jack. You will probably not find any other Apple device on the market that is a small form factor like this one that has a headphone jack. Just there isn't one on many of Apple's devices. The iPhone 7 and above doesn't have a headphone jack. The iPad Pro, the new one, doesn't have a headphone jack. And the iPhone SE was discontinued, and that was the last phone to have a headphone jack. So yeah, that's bad, but you could say, well, you could just buy an iPad mini. Like, you can see my tripod set up there. It's a glossy kind of screen, but you could just buy an iPad mini and you get a better experience, right? Well, technically, yeah. You technically would get a better experience if you bought an iPad instead of an iPod. Could you stop turning off? You technically would get a better experience if you bought an iPad instead of an iPod. But many people don't want to buy these giant things. So, yeah, that's a thing. yeah, many people just don't want to buy these big iPads, so iPods for them are the way to go. Along with, they don't even sell the version of the iPad I have anymore. You can buy it maybe at Costco, but that's really it. Here's another con with this device. Yeah, I'm listing off a bunch of cons. There is no Touch ID. The only way to secure your device, yes, I have some games on here, blah, blah, blah. These are older games, I don't really play them anymore, so I'm probably just going to take them off of this device later. But there's no Touch ID at all on this device. Touch ID existed when this iPod was released. They just didn't put it on it for some reason. I don't know why they didn't do that, but they just felt like they didn't need to. There's no Face ID either. So the only way to secure your device is with that annoying passcode. Well, it's not really annoying, but definitely it does get annoying after you do use, like, I use Touch ID like crazy, and now you can see after having me, or for me having to enter the passcode in several times, that gets really annoying. Now, even with this iPad though, like even this mini iPad that I have here, this also doesn't have any Touch ID, so I have to enter a passcode for this device too. So yeah, that's kind of annoying. Now, will iOS 13 be released for this iPod? Probably. I would say it's probably going to happen unless they release an iPod 7, which sadly what I'm seeing is not likely that Apple is going to be releasing another iPod Touch. The series of iPods has just been dying off completely. Like, there's just really no reason to have one of these anymore when you could just buy an iPhone. But many people don't want to buy iPhones. Ooh, for a flashlight. But many people don't want to buy iPhones. They just want to have the cheaper iPods just to try out. And it makes sense too. Now, I'm going to put this right here. Would I buy an iPod Touch 6th Gen in 2019? Honestly, no. I would not buy an iPod Touch 26 or an iPod Touch 6th Gen in 2016, or not even that year, in 2019. It's honestly just not worth it unless you absolutely know what you're getting, which is not much. This is literally one of the only devices that Apple hasn't updated in years. It's 2015 was when they updated this device. It is 2019. It is January 15th at the moment today. It is the 15th today. And they just haven't updated it. I don't know why they haven't updated it, but they didn't. I don't get why. Now, if a new iPod Touch releases, definitely buy it. I definitely agree that if there is a new iPod Touch that goes out and it is released, buy it. Definitely buy it. But at the moment, with the iPod 6 being the latest iPod, do not buy it. So that's it for this video. Did you like what you saw? And click on the subscribe button down below and give it a like if you liked it. Thank you guys so much for watching this video, and I'll see you all next time. Goodbye. So that's it for this video. Did you like what you see? Or should you buy the iPod Touch 6th generation in Should you buy the iPod Touch 6th generation in 2019? That was a weird inflection. Should you buy the iPod Touch 6th gen? Why is it not focusing anymore? So this device has Now the point of an iPod Touch was to have a point of an iPod Touch is to have a capability. Dang it. The point of an iPod Touch is to have the capability of an iPhone, but dang it, the point of an iPod Touch, stop it. Also, my camera won't focus. Now you can see it has my camera does not want to focus anymore. That's nice. So you can see that it also has a lightning. Come on, focus. Okay, now my camera app is completely frozen, so I can't do anything.